Hello, I'm Scott Moore, Associate Professor at Michigan's Ross School of Business. In this video, we're going to talk about something super cool, super powerful, great stuff. It's Google search tools and features. If you aren't using these, then within minutes after watching this video, you're going to be a much better and happier Google searcher. So what we're going to highlight are two of the search tools that I use all the time, all the time. So it has to do with limiting search by time, and the other one is to find searches, to find documents with images, to highlight the documents that are very rich with images. The other is a new feature of Google called Knowledge Graph. And it's just truly amazing stuff, innovative, and we've seen hints of it in previous videos, but this time I want to talk about it and really highlight what's going on. So let's look at some examples. All right, first, what we're going to do is look for television buying guides. And here it is, television buying guides, lovely. But we don't want to find television buying guides from a while ago, last year, for example. We want to find recent ones. First one, February 2011, not good, okay? So we want something that's come out recently so we know about new TVs, not old TVs. So what you want to do is limit your search by the time the document was revised or written. So here, show search tools, click it. Then you have, all right, predefined, they'll find documents that are new in the last hour, 24 hours, week, month, year, or custom range. Right now we'll just click on past year. And there you go. Now you have documents from the last year. And now you have recent buyer's guides for televisions. If you don't want this last year, you can just, if you don't want to limit it anymore, you just get rid of that, click on that X, and you say custom range, let's say, and scroll down and say, all right, I want to go anytime from, let's say, 02, 01, 2012, and say search. So I don't have to give an end date, and neither do I have to give a beginning date. I could do something before. So again, now what we should find is documents in that date range. Pardon me while I get a cat. All right, next query. Let's say we want to find out information about Barack Obama, but from documents that were written before a certain time. So up through 12/31. 2000, let's say, and search. So now I have anytime through that date, so I can look down and say, all right, let's look at this. Okay, nothing comes up. Sometimes this kind of stuff happens when you're dealing with old documents coming up through Google. Here's Harvard Law Review Editor, March 19th, 1990, and I look at this. And yeah, sure enough, that date is in the headline, but it's actually from September 4th, 2008. Again, now this is another case where Google is fooled. So it sees this date, says, oh, it's from 1990, let's stick it there. No, it's not from there. So you can't always be sure that every document you get is going to be right. So another one, here it says it's from the Chicago Reader, so you check it out. And sure enough, this one loads, December 7th, 1995. Okay, so now we have some information. And you'd go on checking it just like that. But that's how you enter the information for limiting it search for a certain date range. Next example, hydraulic fracturing. Enter this term, and you do a good job defining it just like you want to, but here we're going to concentrate on something else. Now I want to limit it to sites with images. So when you click on sites with images, this returns, things are slightly different. So it's looking for documents that are rich with images, and it's going to highlight those documents with the images in the search results. So let's go ahead and click on that. And now we have, so here's images, just sort of same as always when it will highlight images. But now it has, here's this document and its images, here's its and some of its images. And all down the line, it has different images associated with the different documents. Okay, so right there, what a great way to say, okay, I'm not just looking for images, I'm looking for a document that has certain kinds of images in it, and I'd like to see what those are. Perfect. This is exactly what we're looking for. Now, on to Knowledge Graph. Like I was saying before, this is so super cool. Okay, great stuff here. Knowledge Graph, that's this stuff over here that we've seen before. So we put in a query about Chicago Cubs. Now here, Chicago Cubs, okay, here it says, all right, you might be looking for information about Chicago Cubs. If so, click here. But there's also information about Wrigley Field and the Zagat review about Wrigley Field and details about Wrigley Field and upcoming events at Wrigley Field. Okay, so this is information that, remember we were talking before, Google has 100 billion search queries every month. It's using that information and automatically extracting this kind of stuff. It realizes that Wrigley Field has something to do with the Chicago Cubs. They know about, I think it's 500 million different objects in Knowledge Graph. 500 million. Okay, so there's a lot of information out here. So what do they have information about in Knowledge Graphs? So sports teams, we saw the Cubs, landmarks, people, celebrities, cities. Here, Taj Mahal, this is sort of interesting. So there's the mausoleum Taj Mahal, but then you go down and here's Taj Mahal the musician, Taj Mahal the casino, and the hotel. Okay, so it realizes that those things are different even though they have the same name. Now, here's landscape features, movies, Gladiator, excellent. Astronomical features, so here's Southern Cross, otherwise known Crux, and then there's information that other people search for, and information about Crux itself. David, you enter David, and it says, all right, so there's David, the ancient king, but then there's also David the statue, and David's bridal here in Ann Arbor. I'm guessing you enter this query when you're sitting in England, and you're not going to get this result, right? This has to do with it knows where I am, and so it brings those results to me. This one is where Google is working right now, is getting these collections. So you enter Michigan lighthouses, and right here across the top are a series of pictures of Michigan lighthouses. Jazz musicians, enter jazz musicians, and you get all of this. And yes, you can click on that, and it brings about information about Louis Armstrong, and you can then get information about that. Songs. You know, if you did a search for Frank Lloyd Wright, it's not going to show you songs that are related to Frank Lloyd Wright. It knows that musicians would be associated with songs, and so it finds out about information about songs and albums, and for everything else. So for Frank Lloyd Wright, it would find out information about books he's written, maybe the buildings that he's been involved with. Okay, so this is Google's Knowledge Graph. Knowledge Graph is not about search matching letters. So I type in jazz musicians. It's not necessarily just looking for jazz, J-A-Z-Z, and then musicians. It's looking for this concept of jazz musicians. And what do I know about jazz musicians? Taj Mahal. It's not looking for Taj Mahal. It says, all right, there's Taj Mahal, but then what else do I know about that? I know that there's 3, maybe more things associated with those letters. And let's group the results by those different objects so that now I can click on Taj Mahal the musician, and get results just related to the musician. Very powerful stuff. Very powerful. So today we've looked at Google-specific features and tools. So we looked at the different ways to limit results by time and by sites with images, and then we looked at this very cool feature called Knowledge Graph. Use it yourself. Until next time.